I think my big takeaway from this game is simple. The Kings are a good team.
Mm-hmm.
The Bucks are a great elite team.
Oh, yeah.
And that is the difference.
That is.
And ultimately, as the Kings try to grow and get better, these are the type of games you want them to win. But I thought they were in it on the road. They didn't play their best defensive game. De'Aaron Fox continues to struggle. Yet they were in the fourth quarter of this game, and it was a game.
And that's a huge angle right there. It's just with De'Aaron Fox. And you think about what he hasn't been doing for a big enough sample size now to look at him and go, okay, what's going on there? But you're still seeing that defensive effort there. You're still seeing him capable of doing things and even driving to the basket a few times on Giannis. But for this team to be able to still mostly have that identity that they've played with all season long, even when their star player isn't playing up to his abilities, it's a positive sign.
Yeah, and I guess we can start with De'Aaron. 15 points for him. He was 5 of 16, 1 of 6 from 3. He had 2 assists, 2 rebounds, and 32 minutes of action. And we're in an extended run here with De'Aaron where he just doesn't look like he's got that same pop, right?
Yeah.
He has moments in a game, and he had a couple of moments tonight. You referenced that one of the drives on Giannis, he got an and one. He had another nice take on him in the second half. But the explosiveness looks like it's not there right now.
Yeah.
I know that this team hasn't had him on the injury report, but he has said he's been banged up. Didn't really go into specifics. He said he dealt with an injury bug. I don't know why you wouldn't just rest him for the next game. And maybe that's not enough. Maybe it's not like one game's not going to do it. But I think if you're Sacramento and if you're De'Aaron Fox, you need to look at the big picture here.
Mm-hmm.
There is something good with this team. I think this team is going to be competitive this year.
Yeah.
I think they're going to have a chance to make the playoffs potentially if they can keep playing this way. But they can't if De'Aaron is this version of De'Aaron. And you can make the case. You sit him Friday against Cleveland. They don't play again until Sunday against the Knicks, right? Is that Sunday?
Wait, yeah, Sunday against the Knicks.
Okay.
So Friday and then Sunday. Yeah. Well, okay, I have a question for you. Do you think in some ways that De'Aaron is trying to learn how to play well through injury, through certain things not working with his body, or am I overthinking that?
Well, I think we're all also just sitting here playing the guessing game because we have no idea what's going on.
Okay.
We know the guy had a
Fair
bone
enough.
bruise in his knee.
Yeah.
And missed a game and then came back.
Yeah.
Right? So, we don't know. I mean, we're kind of at a loss for what is exactly going on with De'Aaron Fox. And I just, I still think you're seeing glimpses, but they need him to be better. I mean, I'm taking a look at his game log here over this stretch. And tonight, 15 points, 5 of 16. Against the Bulls, 16 points, 5 of 14. Against the Clippers, 14 points, 5 of 12. Pacers, better, 19 and 6 on 7 of 11. 11 points against Phoenix on 4 of 12. Against Boston, he had 20, but it was on 6 of 17. The Atlanta game where he looked really tired, 18 points, 7 of 20. So, I mean, we're talking now, Morgan, about a 7-game sample size where it's not about like, oh, he's missing shots right now. You can get through it. It's like, oh, he doesn't look the same. Like, literally, like, it's not how he was playing at the start of the season in terms of that burst, that aggressiveness, the takeover. It seems like maybe he's trying to pace himself a little bit because he is fighting through something. I don't know what that is.
You know, I was on a really cool Twitter Spaces, a lot of cool Kings communities that put together some things. And it was on my drive home from NBC Studios. And I was listening to them and what they thought about De'Aaron. And I heard someone talking a little bit about how, hey, is he getting the calls that he should be getting? Because I'm worried that he's going to get hurt if he doesn't start getting the right calls. And I was just, my whole point to this is, I think even the way that he's been trying to go through people on some of his drives to the basket has been a little bit different of how he tries to drive through the contact, how he takes the physical contact. It's just changed a little bit in these 7 games, and I'm sure that's altered the way that he's played a little bit, but maybe it's because he's not getting the calls that he needs. I don't know. It's just something else to look at when you're watching games.
And I would just make the case too, the Kings have shown the ability now through this 7-game stretch where he hasn't been quite himself, that they could still be productive and competitive and win ball games.
Yeah.
That's the great news.
Yes.
So having him rest a game, they may be okay. It could be okay, like long term. Even if look, the Cavs are a really good team. We'll talk about them later, but like you could still beat the Cavs without De'Aaron.
I would rather have De'Aaron take that much time off and be like, try to work his way back in it, because it's like, oh, I've taken so much time off, rather than trying to fight and fight and fight through whatever's going on physically.
Also, the spaces you were in, Daily Sabonis on Twitter puts those on the Cowbell Talk spaces for those who don't know.
Thank you. Sorry for not having that exact shout out.
I mean, you should.
I know. Sorry.
Not a big deal.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess it's just something to monitor as we go forward with the season, because it's, a couple of games. I never trip over a couple of games when a guy struggles, but similar to Keegan, where it's like, all right, Keegan struggled for a while now. What is he okay? Everything going on? Like, I know he's got a lot going on, the back thing, family. What's he going to get out of it? Keegan's gotten out of it. Mm-hmm. And so we hit on Fox. I think the next positive we got to get to from tonight was Keegan Murray.
Hell yeah.
Keegan Murray looks more confident again. I thought he did a great job making plays on both ends. One of my favorite plays, he got Giannis on a pump fake from beyond the arc, drove in for a little jumper. That was nice. He finished tonight with 15 points. He had 4 rebounds on 6 of 10 shooting in 27 minutes. Remember last night, chat, I was talking about how, like, I feel like Brown gets so caught up in his rotations at times, the timing of it, where if Keegan's going, I want him to stay in there to keep it going. Let him roll a little bit, because traditionally over this stretch, Fox and Keegan have been the first guys to the bench. And it's usually at that like 5 to 6.5 minute mark of the first quarter. Tonight, he let Keegan roll.
And
he let Keegan play, because Keegan got off to a nice start. He's playing confident. He was knocking down his shot. He was playing well defensively. He looked engaged. He let Keegan go until the 3:42 mark of the first quarter. That was a great,
really cool.
I love that.
No, and I love that we were talking about that, like you're saying the other night, and that coach trusted him to keep that flow going, to keep his confidence going, especially when you're playing such a good team like the Bucks. You got to make sure you keep things rolling when things are good, and that's exactly what Mike Brown did.
So I thought that Keegan Murray is a huge positive. This is now him stringing together more games in a row where he looks more like himself again.
That's it. Like himself. What we saw in the beginning of the preseason, right? Just more physicality, more confidence. Not only in
how about the jam he had?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Not only in his shot, but the way that he's taking it in too.
That was nice.
What was that face?
That was my Keegan jam face.
Oh, wow.
Let's go. Okay. It was nice. He was 6 of 10 shooting, by the way. He was also 3 of 5 from downtown for him tonight. So I thought that was good. I mean, ultimately tonight, I knew going in, I was like, well, just chalk Giannis down for 30 plus. It's going to happen. And Giannis tonight had 35 points, 9 of 10 from the line, 12 of 19 overall. But the guy that I think jumped out more than him, because you expect Giannis to do that. Mm-hmm. The Kings, everyone's like, the Kings need someone that could defend Giannis. Yes, 28 other teams need to find someone that could defend Giannis. This guy is a freak, and he's going to get his at times. Drew Holiday was the guy tonight that jumped out to me, because I felt like he imposed his will on the team. Drew Holiday is obviously such a talented defensive player, but man, was he just physical on drives. And I know Giannis was gathering so much attention from Sacramento for good reason, but I thought Holiday took great advantage of that.
Yeah, he did a really good job of just understanding their game plan, executing it, really confident in the way that he was driving it into the paint, and also just finishing at the rim, and that's tough too, because when you have to pay so much attention, not only on Giannis, but also on someone like Brook Lopez, who can go off, especially the way that he can stretch the floor. And then the way that he comes in and can, this entire team, the way that the entire team gets their offensive rebounds, gets those second chance opportunities. You have to worry about so much. You have to worry about putting a body and where your guy is and being in help, while also trying to worry about Drew Holiday, who can absolutely get his and get to his spots. And that's what he did.
But I thought at times it came too easy, and that's where the physicality has to be there. And that's the thing with the Bucks. Like, this is a team that you go up and down. I go, Drew Holiday, that guy gets in the guys. He's physical. Grayson Allen, physical, borderline dirty.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Middleton plays a little bit of an edge.
And he's
Giannis,
a big guy, yeah.
Multi-time, all defensive dude. Bobby Portis coming off the bench. Javon Carter. Like, they've got a team full of dogs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Bobby Portis, I just think about alone. Every time I see him out there, I think someone had this tweet that Bobby Portis makes Sabonis look small. And I'm like, yeah, kind of.
He's just a big dude. And they crushed Sacramento on the glass tonight. And I thought that was the other key that jumped out to me tonight. The Kings have done such a good job with defensive rebounding. One of the best teams in the league. They're one of the best at limiting second chance points in the game. They're really good at limiting fast break opportunities too. But the second chance points, the Bucks had 25 second chance points. They had 17 offensive rebounds. I mean, you had Lopez had 6 offensive rebounds. I mean, is that right? Even Javon Carter had 3. He would get in there, get his hand on something, long rebound. 17-8 for offensive rebounds tonight.
Yeah, it was tough to see. And I think the Bucks just did a really good job of not only their timing, but you talk about the will and the want to get to that basketball on those O boards. That's exactly what they did. And to score 25 off of them, a lot of them were those putback jams, putback tip-ins, just being in the right spot at the right time. A lot of those opportunities came in the paint.
Kings posted Mike Brown's press conference today, and I wanted to hear a bit of it. I want to hear if he's asked about De'Aaron Fox and just what he thought about the game, and then we can react to it. Here's Mike Brown post-game after this Kings loss in Milwaukee. Let's get to it. Coming down now.
Give Milwaukee, Coach Bud, and the Bucks a lot of credit. They played a very good game. What's disappointing for me is this is one of the first times I felt we played a game and our opponent dictated from the beginning of the game how the night was going to go. And I didn't think they felt us at all defensively. It was almost like our defense was almost like a glorified scrimmage game or pickup game. Milwaukee went where they wanted to go. They did what they wanted to do, offensively. We didn't do a good job communicating. We blew a lot of assignments. I mean, it's a 2-point game. At one point, we blew 2 or 3 assignments in a row to where they stretch it to a 10-point game. But, having said that, if we would have won, we would have stole the game the way that we played. This one, like I said, it was tough to swallow just because they didn't fill us from the start nor throughout the course of the game. And I think we're better than that. But you got to give Milwaukee and Bud and his staff a lot of credit for coming out there and taking it to us.
Mike, this is 6 or 7 games now where Fox hasn't really looked quite like himself. What are you seeing there, and what is he dealing with anything physically right now?
I don't think he is. I know everybody at this point in the year is dealing with bumps and bruises and cuts and nicks and all that other stuff. But I don't know. You would not that I know of from our medical staff. You would have to ask Fox. He's been really good for us the last 3 games, setting the tone defensively especially. He can score. I'm not worried about him scoring the basketball. I just want him to continue setting the tone from the beginning of the game on the defense end of the floor because on the road against good teams, 113 points, and we missed a few shots here and there. That's enough to keep us in the game. But we all have to get stops, and a lot of times it starts with him. He's ahead of Snake.
It's probably the most frustrated I've heard Mike Brown as head coach of the Kings with his team. We've heard him upset with the officials before.
His standards are so high. And
he's a competitive dude, and I
love it.
I like it too.
I really do.
Don't just go, hey, good job, good effort. Like, we have standards, and we can play better than this. I love that.
And you know what I love too, from the outside perspective, people who were not coaching these practices, we're not in there seeing these guys every single day like he is, and so his expectations are what he knows these guys are capable of doing, where for us sometimes, like when I look at this game and I look at all the things I'm proud of and happy and excited for this King squad, I don't think it's because I have low standards. I think it's more because like I haven't seen it against one of the greatest teams in the NBA yet. Mike Brown feels like he's seen it and knows his team is capable of actually executing it.
So they did not feel them at all, except some spurts in the fourth quarter, and that was too late. He did not like that. They got whatever they wanted. The other thing he was asked about was De'Aaron Fox, and we're so curious about that. I mean, look, he said he's fine.
And he said that last time, too.
He said everyone's kind of banged up, nicked up at this time, but he's fine. And he said he's got to provide what they need defensively. He's not worried about the offense.
Which is fair. And
I agree with what he said the last couple of games, because I think Fox actually played well.
I know.
He's still helping the team in some way, where back in the day when he scored 15 points on 5 of like 19, you're going, well, he's not really playing defense either. He's really hurting you.
Yeah.
But tonight, there were like Holiday did some damage tonight. Like Holiday got his tonight. So I don't know, man. I mean, I just hope if the medical staff says he's fine, he's not showing up on the injury report, then he's just battling through it. And if he needs a day, give him a day or something, because they need a better version of him offensively.
That's it.